Mr. Hicks, why don't you come on up and talk to you, or Mr. Aiken? That wasn't Ms. Hicks.
Here on special appearance in fine.
All right, well, we'll talk about that here. This is file number, what's that?
Here on special appearance in the divine and living.
Okay, could you hand that to me? Well, first let me call the case. This is file number 222036SM. I'll give this back to you. You don't want to lose this. This is a birth certificate for Justin Michael Aiken, who happens to be the person that got this citation, Justin Michael Aiken. I don't want to keep that. I don't want you to lose it. You need it. Anyway, that's you. Mr. Aiken, you're here under one appearance or another. You got a citation charging with having no insurance. The last lady had the same charge. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail, a fine of up to $500 and not less than $200. The second count is the one that carries a driving suspension. That's called driving suspended. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. That carries 2 points and it requires that your license be suspended. So that could affect your ability to drive a car. And then the third count is a registration plate violation, which is a civil infraction. I don't know if there's any sort of plea offer at this point. It probably isn't. What was your advice, Ms. Jackson?
I advised him that he should plead not guilty, ask for a pretrial, and pay off what is suspending him, which is basically a couple of tickets, I believe, out of Greenwich County. See if he can't get some reduction on that charge.
That's not bad advice. Mr. Aiken, she's recommending at this point that you plead not guilty, and I don't have a problem with that. Your driving record shows that you had some previous insurance tickets that you didn't pay. And then she indicates you may also have some things from Indiana, LaGrange County. Look at this.
Branch mean?
What's that?
Branch County.
Branch County. Okay, let me look at this because I did look at this yesterday. The staff has been talking with you. They say you're very polite and respectful, but may not completely understand everything. Your driving record shows that you are currently suspended. You do have an ID. You have Coldwater, March of 22, failed to comply with judgment. That means you didn't pay the ticket. And so her advice is probably pretty good. What would you like to do, sir?
Well, there's case laws here that states that the use of an automobile as necessary adjunct to the earnings of a livelihood as modern life requires use in the interest of realism to conclude the right to use as an automobile on the public highways partakes of nature of a liberty within the meaning of the constitutional guarantees. Barbarian versus Luzier, 1958, 139, A2D, 869. And then the right to operate a automobile upon the public streets and highways is not a mere privilege. It is a right of a liberty.
Excuse me, sir, but what in the doohickey are you talking about? The judge asked you a very simple question on what you wanted to do, whether you wanted to take, I guess, the lawyer's advice and plead not guilty, or if you want to plead guilty. That's all. That was the only question. You bringing up all of this case law that you're clearly misinterpreting is of no relevance. The judge asked you a very simple question. Just answer the question and get on with it already, sir.
the enjoyment of which is protected by the guarantees of the federal and state constitutions, Adam versus City of the Pocatello, 416 P.2D 46, 4891, Idaho, 99, 1966. And a traveler has an equal right to employ an automobile as a means of transportation and to occupy the public's highways with other vehicles in common use. Campbell versus Walker, 78, Atlanta, 601, 603, 2 Boyce, Dell, 41. Also, the word automobile connotes a pleasure vehicle designed for the transportation of persons on highways. American Mutual Liability Insurance Co. versus Chaput 60A.2 D2, 118. Motor vehicle, the term motor vehicle means every description of the carriage or otherwise convenience propelled or drawn by mechanical power and used for commercial purposes on the highways. The term used for commercial purposes means the carriage or a person or property for any fare, fee, rate, charge, or other considerations, or directly or indirectly in connection with any business or other undertakings intended for profit. A motor vehicle or automobile for hire is a motor vehicle other than an automobile stage used for the transportation of persons for which remuneration is received. International Motor Transit Co. versus Seattle 251 P120.
So does that mean you want to plead not guilty to this stuff?
Yes.
All right.
Because
I don't know if there's a club, you pay dues. As I said, the staff said you've been very polite and respectful, but you are woefully misinformed. People keep coming up with these.
I have one more thing. That's okay.
Well, anyway, everything you just said has no meaning to whether or not you need a valid driver's license or insurance in the state of Michigan. And the problem is, Mr. Aiken, you could take all this misinformation and really get yourself in a difficult circumstance. I don't know who's teaching you this, whether you learned it yourself off the internet or you've got a mentor that is taking you down this rabbit hole, but I don't want you to get yourself in a situation where you're going to have to live to be 99 years old to get your driver's license back.
I am so glad that the judge just politely explained to this man that everything he just said meant absolutely nothing to the fact of whether he needs a driver's license or not. Just because you just randomly picked up some nonsense off the internet and now brung it into court and recited it, it means absolutely nothing. It does nothing for your case. It means nothing to your case. Now, the judge just warned him of going down this sovereign citizen rabbit hole and how he will just pretty much be wasting his life away and fighting until he's 99 years old to get his driver's license back because he wants to come into court and recite this nonsense. I'm glad that the judge warned this sovereign citizen of that, but I'm pretty sure it all went in one ear and out the other. Once these sovereign citizens are sold on this nonsense, it is very hard to get them to admit that they're wrong. And that's exactly what this judge just told this man, that he is just flat out wrong.
So first of all, Mr. Jackson's advice that you pay the ticket in Branch County would be helpful. Everything you just said has a thimbles full, an empty thimbles full worth of effect on anything. Your driver's license is suspended by the state of Michigan. You can travel all you want, but you can't drive a car until you get that cleared up. Secondly, you're not an independent nation unto yourself. You need insurance. I don't want you to get all sideways. You can't get your license back from following this irrelevant, meaningless information that you've been provided with. You seem like a nice young man. So I'm going to show you a plea not guilty. Would you give Mr. Aiken his birth certificate back? I don't want him to lose that. Now, you said there was something else you wanted to tell me?
Yes, if that's okay, Your Honor.
Yeah,
Okay, it states right here, under U.S. Supreme Court decision, that common law is the real law, the supreme law of the land, that codes, rules, regulations, policy, and statutes are not the law. So therefore, as in insurance, regulations, title, tags are not law. That's as it's stated here, Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan, U.S. Department of Labor, 1769, or 769 F 2D, 1344, 1348, 1985. And then U.S. Supreme Court decision 1796, there every man is independent of all laws except those prescribed by nature. He is not bound by any institutions formed by his fellow men without his consent. Cruden versus Neal. And then this decision has never been overturned.
okay. I'm not sure where you get this stuff. If that were true, you wouldn't need me. You wouldn't need police. You'd have anarchy and people rioting in the streets and doing, we're about there now. People do whatever they feel like. If somebody says something they don't like, they shoot them. Somebody says something they don't like, they punch them in the nose. They feel like everybody else's property is their property. There's something here in the United States, here in Michigan and here in St. Joe County called the rule of law. And the judges don't make the laws, the legislature does. The judges are sworn to enforce them. So at this point, somebody gave you all this information, which doesn't really affect anything, and it isn't a legitimate defense. You're entitled to have it. You're entitled to be misinformed. I can't, and you're entitled to believe what you want. You're entitled to have a trial in front of 6 jurors.
Yeah, we can do that.
This isn't even. That stuff won't even get to a jury. The only question would be, did you have insurance and were you driving? Anyway, as I said, I don't want you to get on the driving suspended merry-go-round and you'll be unable to get off of it. Whoever is giving you this information is doing you a terrible disservice. You got these tickets in other jurisdictions that you didn't pay. Now you're suspended. How'd you get here today?
I got a ride. Somebody gave me a ride.
All right. Well, don't drive anymore until we sort this out. I would like to see you get back on the right side of having a driver's license. This stuff is not helpful. It doesn't aid your cause. It has little meaning. And the bottom line is you need to have a valid driver's license. You need to have insurance. This stuff doesn't carry any lawful weight in any court in the state of Michigan. So I'm going to show you're pleading not guilty. We'll send you out to the court office. We'll have a pretrial. You can share your thoughts and beliefs with the prosecutor. They'll probably just make them mad. But Ms. Jackson's advice is a good one. If you can go get the tickets paid off, get your license available to get it, they may give you some consideration. But you live in Constantine, which is a little place.
Right.
Every time you drive, they're going to pull you over again.
Yeah,
We're going to be on the merry-go-round and we won't be able to get off of it. So, like I said, you've always been polite and respectful, and you're entitled to believe what you want. But this isn't helpful to your cause. So we'll get a pretrial, let you share that information with the prosecutor, see what they want to do. But Ms. Jackson's advice, I think, is good advice.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Aiken, why don't you take him out to the counter? Now, what's going to happen next, and I apologize, once upon a time, we used to do the pretrial right here at the time of the arraignment. But with county cases, we're not able to do that presently. Are you missing work right now?
No, not right now.
Excuse me, sir, but that was a rhetorical question. You have already been identified as a sovereign citizen, and everybody knows sovereign citizens don't have jobs.
Okay, good. I don't want you to have to take time off from work to come back here, but we'll talk further about this. And if you want a trial, you're ultimately entitled to have one. My hope is you could get some of this stuff squared away and the prosecutor will give you some consideration to help you get your valid license back. But when you were young, you took driver's ed, you did all the steps you needed to do to get a valid license.
Correct. I did then. That was before I actually started researching into law, actual common law of the United States of America, which is common law, God's law. Legal is undoing of God's law, illegally. That's what it comes down to. I mean, I know you don't know it. It's just there's a whole bunch of fraud.
Well, I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. I've been here for 42 years, and people have been making these harebrained arguments for years, and they don't carry any weight. And I'm sorry that you have gone down this path, but it isn't going to be beneficial. And the better, and you went to all the effort to get a driver's license. Don't throw it away because of some mistaken beliefs about something that was rendered in 1796. So anyway, we'll send you out for a pretrial and we'll see where this goes. But I appreciate the fact that you are polite, respectful, and you have a right to believe misinformation if you want to, but it isn't in your best interest. All right, good luck, sir. We'll probably talk further.
Your Honor, Deputy Tyler looked on the cameras for that gentleman and he could not see him driving
All right.
on camera view.
We don't have the other, just don't drive. Same for you. Stop driving and just make it worse and more expensive and harder to get it till we get this fixed.
Okay.
All right, you're good to go, sir.
I applaud the judge for giving this sovereign citizen some sound advice and warning him about the dangers of going down this sovereign citizen rabbit hole. I'm pretty sure this sovereign is not going to listen and he's going to have to learn things the hard way.